Welcome back to LAUSEC Open Distance Learning Lecture Series. ECT 216 Principle of Business Administration 2 Study Section 4, which says Business Environment. So far, we've discussed human resource management, we've talked about marketing function in the study section 2, and the study section 3, we talk about social responsibility of a business. This now leads us to the business environment. Since the public is becoming an increasingly vocal component of the external environment of a business, and I assure you that you will enjoy this study section. Introduction. In Nigeria for the past few years, government has taken the view that it should be less involved and interfere less in social life. This puts a greater work on managers to take new initiatives to deal with issues arising in business environments to achieve the socially desirable trends that otherwise will be responsible by government. So at the end of this study section, you should be able to explain the nature of small business. You should be able to identify a small business. You should be able to highlight all the types of small business and also explain the advantages and disadvantages of small business. And also, lastly, to discuss the components of a business enterprise. Let's take these outline one after the other. The nature of small business. If you look around you, you will notice that a lot of micro businesses litter the Nigerian landscape. And here and there, you will spot barbering shops, meat shops, mechanical workshops, and others owned and operated by individuals. In terms of numbers, these small businesses are larger than bigger and more established corporate bodies. So these small businesses are largely important because they employ a lot of people and thereby contribute in no small measure to the economic development of Nigeria. So it is not easy to define small business like that because the definition presents conceptual problems. So these problems arise because different people see small business from different perspectives. But here we will define a small business as one that is independently owned, operated, and is not dominant in its fields of operation. So, identifying a small business. In identify any small business, there are certain criteria that distinguish the small business from the bigger businesses. And some of these criteria include the initial capital layout, that is the startup capital. Ordinarily, this refers to financial resources that are needed to start for a business. And if this initial capital outlay needed to start a business is small, then that may lead us to conclude that the business is a small one. So for example now, with as low as 10,000 naira, the following businesses can be set up, like newspaper vending business, a phone call center, a pure water distribution businesses, and a street hawking business. So these are the criteria. Initial capital outlay, that is the startup capital, is part of criteria in identifying small business. And the second criteria that can be used to distinguish between a small business and the big one is the number of employees that the business has. For example, a business that has 5 employees, but another one has about 10,000 employees. So this one cannot be said to be a small business. So in the past few years ago, small business and big businesses is being distinguished by the number of employees they have. And another criteria is that can be used to distinguish between a small business and a big one is the ownership structure. Ownership structure in the sense that for a small business, owner, ownership structure will be only one person, that is a sole proprietor, sole proprietorship. So in business organization there are different ownership structures. We have proprietorship, that is a sole proprietorship. We have partnership. We have incorporated company. But for a small business, to identify a small business, a business is being owned by individual, and this is the part of criteria that a small business is used to identify a small business. And another feasible criteria used to distinguish a small business from a big business is the type of technology employed. Because of the small size and relatively low capital base, the small business employs relatively simple technology in operations. This is because the small businesses, due to their low capital base, they cannot afford to acquire complex technologies that comes that is very very expensive like that. So the following are the types of small businesses. Trading is one of the commonest business activities in Nigeria, and the types of a small business includes the following: trading and commerce enterprises, we have service enterprises, and small manufacturing enterprises. For trading and commerce enterprises, is when a trader, let's say a trader is one who buys good from A and sell the same goods to B at much higher price. So the difference between the selling price and the purchase price is the profit of that trader. So perhaps when you look around you, you will notice a small businesses selling, such as sachet water, bread and biscuits, and recharge cards. All these is being purchased at a lower price, and they add little to it to make their own profit. And the next one is service enterprises. Service enterprises are not engaged in buying and selling. Rather, they are engaged in providing services to people and organizations. Example of service enterprises are hairdressing salon, where you make your hair; shoe repairer shops, where you repair your shoes; a dancing theater, where group of people entertain people with a dance; and a photographer shop, where you go to take your photo shots. And another one is small manufacturing enterprises, that is the type of small business. Small manufacturing enterprises are another major group of businesses in Nigerian economy, but they engage in basic manufacturing activities that do not involve complex processes or technology. Also, they may not involve huge capital outlays, that is the startup capital. And the example of these includes soap making enterprises, sachet water making enterprises, exercise book making enterprises, and bread making enterprises. Now talk about the advantages and disadvantages of small business. A major advantages of a small business is that it requires low setup capital. So with the sum of money like 10,000 naira, a small business can can be set up, and someone can buy a fairly used motorcycle at the rate of 40,000 naira, and that person can start a transportation business. And also with a little as 10,000 naira, one can buy a mobile phone and start a phone call center. Another example is ease of entry and exit. Because of the low capital required to start a small business, it is also has ease of entry. For example, with a sum as low as 10,000 naira, one can set up a mobile phone call center. However, this ease of entry also is responsible for ease of exit. And another advantage is operational flexibility. Because of their relatively small size, small businesses have the advantages of operational flexibility, in which decision can be made easily without consulting any board to make decision, and this make it to be flexible. And this small business also have disadvantages, and the major disadvantages of small business is the lack of capital. Lack of capital always hinders the expansion of most small businesses because of their size, and small businesses are unable to attract bank loan or bank financing. And also the next disadvantages is lack of managerial skills. Because of its inherent size, small business usually suffer from lack of managerial skills, as it depends only on the managerial skills of the sole proprietorship or the partners, as the case may be. And the last one is lack of adequate technology. In the face of these changes, small businesses find it difficult to cope with the rapid changes in science and technology, and this is because they do not have capital to embrace these new technology. And we let's talk about the components of business environment. Components of business environments are internal environments and external environments. Internal environment includes all those factors which influence business and which are present within the business itself. And most of these factors are usually under control of a business. And these factors include objective of business, policies of business, production capacity, production method, management information system, and participation in management. While external environment includes all those factors which influence business and exist out of the business. Business has no control over these factors, and the information about these factors is important for the study of the external information about these factors. And these factors include the customers, the suppliers, the competitors, the public and marketing intermediaries. Thanks for listening.